Hi everyone, welcome to the Tertiary Toolbox Video Series. Today's episode is What is Tertiary Education? As you can see from this screen, there'll be quite a few episodes in this series, ranging from what is tertiary education to how to find courses, tertiary admission centres, applying, early entry, etc. So make sure you keep an eye out for future episodes. They'll be uploaded to your Careers Classroom, but they'll also be available directly from the Careers YouTube channel as well. So what are we going to be talking about today? Basically, we'll be talking about a general definition of careers, the AQF system, and the difference between undergraduate and postgraduate study. So in Australia, tertiary education is formal education beyond high school, and it consists of both the government and private institutions, and it's divided into two different sectors. So there's the vocational education and training sector, which includes TAFEs, and then there's a higher education sector, which includes universities. So in Australia, we're really fortunate. We have the AQF, which is Australian Qualifications Framework, and it's a national policy which has been designed to regulate qualifications within the sector. And it incorporates qualifications from both sectors into one comprehensive framework. So if we look at this table, I really like this as a really good visual representation of how it all works. So the far left-hand column, the AQF level, so you'll notice it's from 1 to 10. Then it's got three different sectors. So it's got the school sector, the vet sector, and the higher education sector. And within that column, it will show you what qualifications can be delivered within that sector. So if we look at the school sector, they can deliver from Certificate 1 to Certificate 3, from vocational education sector, from Certificate 1 up until some graduate certificates, and then the higher education sector from diploma to a doctorate degree. You'll notice that some qualifications can be delivered in different sectors. So a Certificate 3, for example, can be delivered by the school sector and also the vocational education and training sector. If we look at a diploma, that can be delivered by the vet sector and also higher education sector as well. Basically, employers and educational institutions will only recognise qualifications that fall within that framework, which is a really good thing because it gives you the confidence to know that if it is a AQF qualification, it will be recognised nationally. So the framework can then be divided into three basic categories, so certificates, diplomas and degrees. If we look at certificates, they range from Certificate 1 to Certificate 4, Certificate 1 being the entry level of certificates. So they provide a really basic vocational background and knowledge, and it's a really good launch pad for a career, up to a Certificate 4, which is often considered the equivalent of 6 to 12 months of university study as well. Then we have diplomas. So courses at a diploma and advanced diploma level generally take 2 to 3 years to complete, and they'll normally prepare you for careers that require a broad range of complex technical skills and also in-depth knowledge. And these qualifications are generally considered equivalent to 1 to 2 years of university study as well. Then we'll look at degrees. So an undergraduate bachelor degree, you'll hear the word bachelor a lot within this sector, is the base university level qualification. Typically takes between 3 to 4 years to complete, and it signifies that you've got a really coherent knowledge and the ability to do professional work. What's the difference between undergraduate and postgraduate? There are two other terms that you'll hear a lot of in this sector. So undergraduate literally means below graduate. So it's usually your first post-secondary education qualification. The term postgraduate means above graduate. So once you have a degree, so a bachelor degree, you then may be eligible to do some postgraduate study. So it may be, a graduate certificate, or it might be a master's, etc. Sometimes in some circumstances, you may not need a degree to do postgraduate study if you have really significant industry experience. So if we look at undergraduate, usually takes 3 to 4 years to complete. So it's often referred to as a bachelor degree. And typically students would begin work after they complete their degree. However, some students will choose to go on to postgraduate study directly after their undergraduate degree. Postgraduate studies are a great way to fast track your career or potentially even take your studies in a different direction. And the options include anything from a graduate certificate up to a doctorate degree. Ordinarily, to complete a doctorate degree, you'd need to do a master's degree first. However, if you've received first class honours, then you might be able to skip a master's, the master's step. So why should you look at both? So typically most school students would be looking at undergraduate, but it's also important to be looking at postgraduate as well. Because if you're looking at studying an undergraduate degree that's super competitive to get into, you might consider doing a different undergraduate degree with the intention of then completing postgraduate study to become qualified. So a really good example of that, lots of our students have done this in the past, is they may be looking at doing physiotherapy, for example. They may not get into physiotherapy, so they might do a bachelor degree in health sciences. Once they've completed and passed that, then do some postgraduate study, like a master's degree in physiotherapy, for example. Also, sometimes if people's undergraduate degree is more generalised, which is not a bad thing, then they might need to do some postgraduate study to gain professional recognition. So that's important to keep that in mind as well. So don't forget to refer to the other videos in this series. They'll all be uploaded to your classroom. As always, I always encourage you to book appointments to come and see me. You can do that by clicking the link on the student landing page or by clicking the link in my email signature. Or if you have a quick question and you don't have time to have an appointment, then just send me a quick email. Hope you found this video useful.